Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's both fascinating and, let's be honest, a little bit terrifying: the Yellowstone Supervolcano. We've all seen the headlines, the disaster movies, the sensational claims that it's a ticking time bomb about to blow. But what's the real story? Are we ignoring signs of an impending catastrophe? Or is the truth more complex? Let us separate the science from the speculation and explore what's really happening beneath one of America's most iconic national parks. First, let's get a sense of scale. Yellowstone isn't just any volcano. It's a supervolcano, a colossal cauldron of molten rock simmering just miles beneath the Earth's surface. Its magma chamber is massive, estimated to be about 55 miles long and 25 miles wide, containing enough magma to fill the Grand Canyon multiple times over. An eruption from a beast like this wouldn't just be a local event, it would be a global one, with the potential to alter climates and impact life worldwide. Historically, Yellowstone has a pretty consistent eruption cycle. It has had 3 major caldera-forming eruptions in its history, one about 2.1 million years ago, another 1.3 million years ago, and the most recent one about 640,000 years ago. If you do the math, the time between these massive events is roughly 600,000 to 800,000 years. Since the last one was 640,000 years ago, it's easy to see why people get nervous. We're in the window, so to speak. But does that mean an eruption is imminent? Not necessarily. Geologic time isn't like a train schedule. Being in the window could mean tomorrow, or it could mean thousands of years from now. So, what are the signs scientists look for? The things that would tell us something is changing under Yellowstone. The first and most obvious is ground deformation. As magma moves or pressure builds underground, the ground surface can rise and fall. Think of it like breathing. Yellowstone is constantly breathing. In recent decades, we've seen the caldera floor rise and fall by several inches. For example, between 2004 and 2010, the ground rose at an unprecedented rate, in some places by as much as 10 inches. Then, it started to subside again. While this sounds alarming, scientists at the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, or YVO, say this is normal behavior for such a large caldera system. It's the magma and hydrothermal fluids shifting around deep below. A truly worrisome sign would be rapid, sustained uplift of several feet, not inches, which we are not seeing. The second major sign is seismic activity. Earthquakes. Yellowstone is one of the most seismically active areas in the country, experiencing anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 earthquakes every year. Most are too small for anyone to feel. These are caused by the movement of magma and hot water through the rock and by tectonic faults in the region. What scientists really watch for are earthquake swarms, where hundreds of small quakes happen in a concentrated area over a short period. In 2017, the Maple Creek swarm produced over 2,400 quakes in just a few months. Sounds scary, right? But again, the YVO assures us this is standard procedure for Yellowstone. The real red flag would be earthquakes that become progressively shallower and stronger, indicating that magma is forcefully breaking through rock and pushing its way to the surface. Right now, the seismic activity, while frequent, is not showing this dangerous pattern. The third area of focus is the park's famous hydrothermal features: its geysers, hot springs, and fumaroles. These are like the volcano's pressure relief valves. Changes in their behavior, like a geyser erupting more or less frequently, or a hot spring drying up, can signal changes in the plumbing system below. For example, the world's tallest active geyser, Steamboat Geyser, went from being mostly dormant for years to erupting dozens of times a year since 2018. Is this a sign of the apocalypse? Probably not. Geyser activity is notoriously erratic. Scientists believe these changes are more likely linked to minor shifts in the near-surface hydrothermal system, not a prelude to a massive magma eruption. A truly alarming sign would be a massive park-wide change, like all the geysers going off at once or vast new steam vents opening up and blasting out superheated gas. Fourth, we have gas emissions. Volcanoes release gases from the magma below, primarily carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide. An increase in the amount or type of these gases can be a critical warning sign that fresh magma is rising closer to the surface. The YVO constantly monitors gas levels across the park. To date, there have been no significant concerning changes in gas emissions at Yellowstone. The gas composition remains stable, consistent with a deep hydrothermal system, not with magma that's about to erupt. So, with all these signs currently pointing to business as usual, why does the ticking time bomb narrative persist? It's because the stakes are so high. The last super-eruption ejected over 1,000 cubic kilometers of rock and ash. An event of that magnitude today would cover vast swaths of North America in ash, disrupt agriculture globally, leading to a volcanic winter and cause unimaginable economic and social collapse. It's a true low probability, high consequence risk. But here's where the story takes a fascinating and somewhat reassuring turn. Recent scientific discoveries are painting a more nuanced picture of what's happening underground. Using advanced seismic imaging techniques, scientists have been able to map the magma chamber in more detail than ever before. What they found was surprising. The top part of the vast magma reservoir is onto a giant pool of molten lava ready to blow. Instead, it's more like a slushy, crystal-rich mush. It's estimated to be only about 5 to 15% molten. For a super-eruption to occur, you need a much larger percentage of that chamber to be liquid magma, probably over 50%. Getting that much solid rock to melt takes an enormous amount of heat and time, likely thousands of years. Think of it like a mostly frozen drink. To get it to erupt out of the cup, you need to melt a lot more of the ice first. This crystal mush state acts as a sort of cap, a geological brake pedal, making it much harder for an eruption to get started. This doesn't mean an eruption is impossible. A massive injection of new, hot magma from deeper in the Earth's mantle could rapidly melt the slushy reservoir and trigger an event. But the point is, Yellowstone isn't sitting there primed and ready to go. There are significant geological hurdles to overcome before a super-eruption could happen. So what's the final verdict? Is Yellowstone a ticking time bomb? The science says, not in the way you might think. It is an active, dynamic, and incredibly powerful volcanic system that will absolutely erupt again someday. But that someday is almost certainly not in our lifetimes or even our grandchildren's lifetimes. The signs we would expect to see for a super-eruption massive ground uplift, escalating earthquake swarms moving toward the surface, and huge changes in gas emissions are simply not there. The latest research on its crystal mush magma chamber suggests it is in a state of relative stability, not poised for catastrophe. The real danger from Yellowstone in the near future isn't a super-eruption. It's much more likely to be a hydrothermal explosion. These happen when superheated water underground flashes to steam, causing a violent explosion that can hurl rocks and create craters. These are localized events, but they can be very dangerous if you're nearby. The other possibility is a smaller lava flow, which would be destructive within the park, but wouldn't have the global consequences of a super-eruption. Yellowstone is one of the most monitored volcanic systems on the planet. A dedicated team of scientists is watching it 24/7. They've made it clear that a super-eruption would not happen without warning. There would be weeks, months, or even years of escalating signs. So while it's fun to speculate and be awed by the immense power lurking beneath our feet, there's no need to lose sleep over Yellowstone. It's a wonder of nature that deserves our respect and continued study, not our panic. What do you think? Does the science make you feel more at ease? Or are you still convinced we should be worried? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more content just like this. See you next time.